will actually name it extreme baking.
It was, because the temperature was boiling hot, man.
It was steaming hot.
Not just in our studio, but the temperature was rising. And it is heating up, guys. We're only in game number 2. If you were here for hour 1 of Thorzain and Hwangsin, get ready for hour number 2, potentially. In the bottom right, we have from Team Evil Genius's raid call is Marcus Eklof, also known as Thorzain, the reigning WCS Swedish champion, and also just the guy that, I think Team Liquid said it best, home turf never applied to someone more, or was never more applicable to somebody, because Thorzain just plays so well on DreamHack soil. It's just unfortunate that he ran to Inertio in WCS. Nonetheless, he is up against Hwangsin from Team It's Goes to the Blue Protoss player.
Very proud of Hwangsin right now.
That's not a game you should be ashamed of. It's a game that is heartbreaking because you realize you could have won, but it's not a game that you should be sad about.
It's hard to close out in those positions, especially when you're on low economy. What do I mean by low economy? Well, think he was on 2 base, he went to high tech, upgrades, Colossus, all at the same time off of 2 base. Then he slowly got his 3rd base, lost his 2nd base. Oh, I'm so sorry. Lost his 2nd base, and so he's on 2 base again. And at the end of the game, he was only at 7 gateways. Now, why was he at 7 gateways? Because he didn't have that sit back and wait until 200, and then after that, just mass up a ton of gateways. So when you're on that low count, you don't actually have a lot of momentum swings, whereas Thorzain has more capabilities. Of course, Bio is a lot more mobile. They can get in better positions faster. So they're the ones that are able to defend a little bit better. So I think overall, Hwangsin's style of that last game doesn't fit Daybreak as well as, let's say, Ohana. I think this is the perfect style for Ohana because, as you can see, the 4 middle bases, this base over here, this one, and this one, they lean more towards your opponents. That means as soon as 4 base hits, you're going to have more battles. Whereas 4 base hits in Daybreak, and you can still just sit in that middle and be like, come at me, bro. You're not going to do anything. And that's what's very, very different about Ohana. That's why we're going to have Hwangsin probably play a little bit better with his style on this map.
Well, we'll see how Hwangsin's style eventually pans out. Meanwhile, I do like this build from Thorzain with 1 rack CC into, well, 3 CC. And you play really greedy, but you play super defensive. And Ohana's a map that you kind of can get away with turtling because of the way you're able to protect your high ground. There's not much room for Stalkers to really blink and whatnot. And it's really hard for Protoss to kind of bust you if you play smart positionally. Select does this a lot, not just on ladder, but in tournament games. And I copy this build. It's really tough, though, to hold any kind of really fast Colossus timing. You've been telling me that, Andre. If you go fast 3CC and they go for the Squirtle 3 Colossus push, you will not have enough to hold off those Colossus.
Yeah, because, well, we'll look at it, okay? Normally, we're going to see 4 medevacs and then Vikings directly after that, right? The 4 medevacs start at around 10 minutes. So we're going to look at 10 minutes how many Vikings you can actually have. And keep in mind that the 12-minute timing is when the 3 Colossus actually hits. So you have 2 minutes to actually prepare for that. Let's just find out and see how well Thorzain has the potential of defending against something like that. But right now we can see Hwangsin playing very standard. What is this?
Standard. He's going
Twilight Council. Never mind.
Council.
Take it back.
Instead of a Robo.
Take completely back. And there's the Robo. So he might be actually doing some Blink play, possibly Dark Templars. Probably not, though. Dark Templars not really that good against Terran in the
Well, he does have his gas pooled for Dark Templars if he really wants to go DT.
True.
Does he? No, he's going for Blink. You're right, Andre.
Okay.
No, I mean, it always is a possibility.
Yeah. I've seen it before. I mean, we can't rule it out. It's within Hwangsin's range.
Right. So. Yeah, I think it's I think DTs do have their place in PvT, but I don't see it that often. Well, the best example came to mind with Alicia versus, I believe it was Marine King, where he just kept keeping 1 DT under that command center to prevent it from being able to land and scan. That was pretty sick. Other than that, though, you can see that it's pretty standard Hwangsin, or sorry, pretty standard Blink with Obs, getting his tech out really early, trying to put his gateways a little bit later. Wouldn't be surprised to see him throw 3 more gateways to kind of get a lot of Stalkers, because 3 gateways is pretty low, especially if you want to go for some kind of harass push. But it's also a safe way to play, too, if you want to go for the Blink early so that you can protect yourself against any kind of early harass or drops.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, this style is so good against harassment styles, where Thorzain is going to go out and try to just harass with 2 medevacs full of units. It's awful against 5-rack style, similar to Tage's style, where he has the potential of going up to 7 barracks off of 2 bases, and can really put on the pressure. And Blink Stalkers just do not stand up to the test of hardiness at that period in time. They just can't dish out enough damage. You need AoE in that position. So important to note, right now, Thorzain gets the money scout over here. But, here's the Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, he blinks directly in, but we'll see how much damage these Stalkers can do, because Ohana... he's targeting down stem! But the SCVs are there to repair it. Very nice heads-up play from Thorzain. Now these Stalkers have to take a lot of damage in order to escape. And, of course, the blink has been used in order to dodge the first round.
He can get some mule. Nope. He's just going to do it.
He's trying to leave. He's like, nothing to see here, folks. Just getting out of here. He's like trying to bump shoulders with all the SCVs. Just let me out. Just trying to get out. Man. Wow.
And through all that, he still hasn't gotten a 3rd base. And the problem with that is Thorzain knows he hasn't gotten a 3rd base. That is so clutch, because Thorzain, after that, says, okay, well, you don't have an AoE advantage. You do not have some sort of big economic advantage. You don't really have anything. So I have an advantage, because I have my economic advantage. That's going to materialize into units a little bit later. Technically, I should have more units because I got my command center a lot earlier. So Thorzain is just going to go ahead and take his 3rd base, knowing that he has an army advantage, or standing army advantage.
Yeah, and now Thorzain, just like you said, when he knows his economic advantage, can play a little bit more passive. The scariest moment for him to survive has passed, because he knows his opponent went for blink first very quickly. He knows an observer's out, so he knows that his opponent has Robotech. So the inevitable switch to Colossus is very prevalent. So Thorzain already starting to, you would start getting Vikings at this point in time. He's already getting +1 on his air, so he knows eventually what he has to prepare for. Thorzain playing very smart.
That's exactly right. Now, I do want to mention really quick, it is rounding the 11-minute timing. Not a single medevac out. Yes, he was delayed. Let's say it was delayed 30 seconds. But he's just getting 2 medevacs out now. And really, this is the time where you want to be getting Vikings. If there was 3 Colossus hitting at 12 minutes, more than likely Thorzain is dead. But of course, you have to know it's 3 command centers. That's very hard to do.
Well, based off his scouting information, doesn't he know though, like that he's not going for 3 Colossus?
Yes. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically.
Oh, right.
In the hypothetical.
If you're going 3 Colossus.
Yeah. That's just proving not proving, but giving a little bit of evidence to suggest that the Squirtle build is a great response to the 3 orbital command center before 3 barracks.
Yeah.
Stuff like
I
that.
also do
gas.
like what Thorzain's doing here, putting on slight aggression onto his opponent, because his medevacs are a little bit delayed, but so are Hwangsin's everything else. Like his Colossus is slightly delayed, his upgrades are slightly behind as well. You can see how far ahead Hwangsin's up in upgrades over his opponent. That's usually the other way around due to Chrono Boost. So at this point, Hwangsin has to catch up in upgrades. We see a second starport also for Thorzain around the nice timings. Gonna start pumping out units en masse. One thing you have to consider is getting out that second starport so you can handle your Viking production as well as medevac production. A lot of people always underestimate that.
Definitely.
It's one thing that will help you elevate your play from Diamond to Master.
I would think so. Or even Master to High Master.
Yeah.
Or even High Master to Grandmaster. It's true, man. I mean, there's so many players at Master level that I would actually make a new league for them.
Yeah. Actually, that's a big thing. That's why I like the new ladder change, Andre, because in Season 4, I think we're in 2012, they are saying that if you are rank 5 in Masters, that means you're in the top 5% of Masters. You won't move up unless your MMR moves up, which is it's not a point-based system anymore, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
I mean, you do get points still, but it's still like a percentage-based.
Okay. Well,
well, I just thought to let you know, man.
No.
That was a fun fact.
It is a fun fact. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. To be completely honest, that last game really exhausted me. That was absolutely insane. I'm sorry for the slightly less energetic.
No, I feel you, man. And that's kind of like the style that both players are really. You can kind of sense it too, because when you're in the middle of a series and you start realizing that you play a little bit slower, you start thinking a little slower because you're just a little bit tired. That comes into play. Don't think that a very long game doesn't affect best of 3s. And we'll see how it is. Thorzain's definitely used to it. We'll see how Hwangsin kind of copes with it. For now, Hwangsin wants more time. He says, please, not now. He's going to pick up his medevacs immediately and drop into the main, kind of try to punish him for being out of position. In fact, the High Templars and the Stalker Zealots are out of position as well. Can he pick off a single Colossus? Thorzain might be able to snipe some important tech as well, meanwhile gaining position. But for now, Thorzain is just focusing on cutting some of these units while not necessarily moving to the third. Normally, you can poke into the main while pushing the third base.
Oh, wow. The High Templars, storm their own units, unfortunate. That's what I'm talking about, the power of kiting, but you can see not any medevacs over there. Really, really messes up this harass because, of course, you don't have a lot of stims. One stim, probably, to be exact. Second stim, and it's getting a little bit too dicey.
Yeah, I mean, because when you just have to hit 2 storms, it doesn't even have to be lasting storm. The initial impact after 2 stims is almost insta-kill on the Marine. So
that's exactly
it's just too much damage, and Thorzain does back off for now. But he is getting ghosts into his unit composition, and he's also getting his 4th base, and as long as he can deny his opponent's 4th base, Thorzain will be more than comfortable playing from that advantage. Oh, Hwangsin's taking a very risky position because the Colossus are completely exposed, especially if you go by this watchtower. Has to be very careful, Andre.
Hwangsin has the composition advantage. With these High Templars, it's just so powerful against the very low medevac count. And think about it, it's because the starport was just so late, he just doesn't have enough time to get enough medevacs out and Vikings. He needs to prioritize Vikings because of the Colossus count. Now all of a sudden his gas is being forced to go into Ghost. If Hwangsin hits right now, it'll be the most advantageous time he could possibly get. But Ghosts are already coming out. If once they walk over, it's going to be a very different story.
Andre, the Ghost popped out literally with seconds before Mobius Reactor finishes. He doesn't
wow.
have EMPs.
Oh, this is the perfect timing then.
Hwangsin's picking the exact precise time he needs to strike right now. Thorzain does a mass stim, but he's not able to even follow it up. That's as if he gets a huge storm off.
And the Ghosts are actually dying. They're walking directly into Stalker fodder.
That is really bad for Thorzain because he's not able to really. I mean, he does have EMPs now, but man, he lost so much positioning. And this is a good spot for Hwangsin to be in as long as he can control his High Templars right. Pulling the High Templars back very nicely. Vikings are not in position. Stalker's playing forward. Storms to push back the units. Charizard's keeping the units at bay. There's a low medevac count. No real ability to keep healing Storms on the bio as they are rearranging themselves and taking lots of damage.
Perfect.
Great job.
All you have to do from here is go Stalker Colossus. Protect your Colossus at all costs, and you'll be able to win the game. There's no way that your opponent can confront as soon as you win the first major Viking battle. And look at this. He's just going to keep going in. He has enough units. Colossus doing way too much damage. Frodan, there it is. GG, well played. Hwangsin takes game number 2.
We are going to game number 3. Hwangsin ties it up and says, I'm not done just yet. I mean, we're not done with this series, man. It's been, wow, what a great read by Hwangsin, but such unfortunate timing because Thorzain was trying to push the very last second, and Mobius Reactor would not finish for his first 4 ghosts that popped out.
That is so unfortunate.
It was down to the last 2-3 seconds, and that's all it takes, because if he had the EMPs, EMP the High Templars, no storms, and power the Vikings, Colossus dies, bio against Stalkers is laughably one-sided. And that was a completely different game. Thorzain would have it 2-0, but as not the case, it is 1-1. And as a result, we're going to game number 3. Thank you so much to GameSpot, who helps provide lots of coverage for NASL Season 4. Go to GameSpot.com to check out lots of cool VODs as well as promotions for NASL. We'll be back after a quick commercial break. We need another minute to gather ourselves, but game number 3 will be epic. We guarantee it. Don't go anywhere. More action is coming up next.
Oh.